Let's talk frankly. Letters to influential South Africans about the state of our nation. It's a satirical and tongue-in-cheek publication. It is a complication. I suppose you can call it complication as well. It's a compilation of letters addressed to 22 of some of South Africa's influential leaders who are called upon to use their public presence and their role to change the course of events in society and improve the level of public discourse. Subject matter covered in the book ranges from politics, the arts, business, community and the faith sector as well. But we've got the author of the book in studio with me, Onkgopotse JJ Tabane. It is so good to see you again.
It's been ages.
It's been far too long.
Wonderful.
So that's why I suppose complication. Yes. I mean, has this caused any complications for you? Because they're quite hard-hitting.
Not yet. I think people are still reading. It's because it's quite voluminous, quite long letters. By the way, not a compilation of letters I've written. I do write letters often to politicians, to people who are influential in society, just to get a sense of accountability. You know, if a minister does something strange, you know, can a citizen write to that minister and say, Minister, would you mind explaining yourself? And I think that's really, this is firstly the first reason I wrote this book. The second reason is the whole issue of the culture of debate that is dying. You know, people really are seeing a degeneration of debate, particularly after 1994. Before 1994, you had even within the movement itself, you had position papers on practically everything. Things that gave rise to the constitution itself, that gave rise to things like the RDP. Fast forward to 20 years, if you look at how the National Development Plan was even adopted by political parties in Parliament before it was even debated at an ANC conference, that tells you that the quality, of engagement is slowly dying. So I'm trying to say to everyone, you've got a role to play, whether you are an academic at university, a pastor in a church, or a politician. You've got a role to play. And really, I would like people to just start asking themselves the question, what do you do if you are not afraid? And what light are you shining in the corner where you are without resigning everything to politicians or to government?
I mean, in your opinion, what do you think makes a quality debate? I mean, because it's I agree with you that there isn't debate, but I in a way disagree with you. With social media, the debate that happens is bigger than it's ever been.
I think it's about the quality of the debate, because, if I tweet for 2 minutes in a month and disappear, that's not going to shape policy. That's not going to shape where society is going. I mean, you remember just recently one of the big debates, the issue of the role of the judiciary. You had leaders speaking out about how they see the judiciary, how they want the judiciary to shape society, how the judiciary must change, how we must transform, the law and so on. So you want, in terms of the new South Africa and the new ethos and so on, for people to start asking the deeper questions. That's the first thing. The second thing is the death of internal democracy in political parties. A lot of people, are afraid to speak out because they were afraid to offend leaders. And you see that, of course, when they do speak out, you see what comes down tumbling to them. I mean, Kgalema Motlanthe, who was the president of this country, is told to shut up. I mean, how do you explain that from a point of view of improving the quality of the discourse that you're supposed to be having, without having to worry about how you'll be painted, or you'll be told, oh, keep quiet because when you were here we didn't see your wisdom, so keep quiet now, even if you have something to add. And I think we need to throw away those shackles when it comes to internal party democracy, but also in society in general, in the churches. You've seen just the debate about how churches are conducting themselves. They themselves have not been that prophetic over the last 20 years because of a sense of patronage. They're afraid to offend. They're afraid to challenge some of the leaders who they sit across and have tea and are in these functions from time to time.
Yeah. Who is JJ Tabane? And who gives, I suppose, JJ the right to go out and publish a book of his letters? Why do something like, I mean, you told us why, but I mean, your voice, why is it important?
Well, I think that like any other citizen, I think that what has increasingly become apparent is that in society, our leaders in particular, behave more like kings rather than more like servants of the people. So you don't need to have a big title or a big role in society and so on to be able to say to somebody like Malusi Kigaba, but why are you doing this with tourism statistics? Must I wait maybe to go to my branch and ask him to come there to ask and understand why he would do what he did? And the answer is no. The answer is that we, like anybody else, must be able to hold our leaders accountable. right? And part of doing that is to speak out about things that you don't like. Nobody should be above criticism, right? And I believe that, you know, particularly in my own career, I've not really hesitated to speak out if I think something is not right or it's not. The other thing is that I think we don't laugh at each other, ourselves enough. You know, that's why people would I mean, somebody looked at the cover of the book and said, but how can one of us, portray the president like this? Everyone must be able to laugh a little.
Yeah.
That's why I invited Diallo, who usually does cartoons for the Sweat team. So I said, take the Mickey out of all these people. And that way, as you know, the serious things are said in jest. Where we're able, to point out things that are not right at each other. But sometimes you don't have to be rude about it. You could be satirical. And I thought that, in South Africa there aren't too many satirical writers, and I'll give a try at it. And I thought a combination with Yalo would give satire in this country a leg up. And nobody is above satire. You could be, a worker working somewhere. You could be a president. I don't believe that anybody is.
And you'll still get it. Well, listen, this is a book that JJ Tabane has written, Onkgopotse JJ Tabane. It's called Let's Talk Frankly. There are letters to a lot of influential South Africans, from Gwedi Mantashe, Helen Zille, Julius Malema, Mampile Rampile, Bladen Zamande, Steve Hofmeyer, you name it. I'm going to read two sentences as I take you into an ad break, two opening letters. This is to Steve Hofmeyer from JJ. Before I speak frankly to you, I thought I'd look at a few of your shenanigans and just get them out of the way. So that's how the letter begins, and you can only imagine where it goes from there. And then this one, to Dear Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, I'm sure your stint in Addis Ababa has been an interesting one so far. And I don't have to ask whether you have discovered some good shopping centers from which to add to your collection of colorful African garments. At least someone represents Africa's dress sense on the international stage. And that's probably the nicest part of the letter. And then it just carries on from there. And then you got to read the president's letter. That's right at the end. Listen, JJ, if anything, it'll get us talking, it'll get us laughing, and it'll get us thinking.
Absolutely.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolute pleasure. So, bookstores around the country, no doubt?
Yes, everywhere. It's already bestseller, exclusive books.
Fantastic.
CNA, you can get it there. And I look forward to feedback.
Nice.
And really regenerating this culture of debate.
Exactly. Get that debate. Great holiday reading. You can read like 2 letters at a time and then, pick up the book again. Onkgopotse JJ Tabane, author of the book titled Let's Talk Frankly, Letters to Influential South Africans About the State of Our Nation.